All right, beginning of a new year, end of a training cycle, and about a week out from the meet itself. So top squat set here, a single at 252.5 or 557. Actually pretty happy with how this went considering how last week was a little bit rough, and this is definitely over what my opener will be. So glad that moved well. From there, did a back off 4x4 with 225 pounds or just under 500 pounds, and these all felt really, really good. Also live streamed a lot of this training session on Instagram, which I tend to try to avoid doing only because I get very distracted talking to you guys, but hopefully if you were part of that, you enjoyed it. So after those 4 sets of back off squats, moved on to deadlifts, just 5 singles at 217.5, and these all moved really well. They felt a lot better than they did last week. As you know, deadlifts have been something I've been struggling with the past couple of training cycles. So for these to feel pretty good was a good sign, although it was fairly light, so that could be a little bit misleading. From there on day 2, I was supposed to do a single at 8 before some back off work. Decided to push it here just because I wanted to see what I would think would be probably my second attempt, and I got stuck in the middle here, but once it got moving well. So I'm hoping that this could be potentially my second attempt, which is higher than it was last meet and would set me up for potentially a PR on my third attempt. The back off sets all moved really well. One of the things I've been noticing about bench is what really kind of sets the tone is how my elbows track, and you'll see later on in the week they start getting all over the place and start moving back and forth, and that's when I lose a lot of that power and drive. So I really need to try to keep my elbows under the bar and not from swinging around so much, but it is what it is, and bench has never been something that's been a strong point for me. But to bang out this last set of 5 with 132.5 was a pretty good feeling. So this brings us on to day 3, a top single at 267.5, same weight as last week, which was a struggle bus, and this moved a lot better. Still not as fast as I'd like to see, but it moved about twice as fast as it did last week, so that's a huge plus. Then the back off work, doing lots of sets here with 240 for a couple of triples. These all felt really strong as well, so it was definitely a good week when it came to deadlifts, which is great because this is something I was really sweating after the debacle that was last week. This day is also really tough for me because after the heavy deadlift and rep work, we then move on to competition squats, so 4 sets of 4 at about 463 pounds. Decided to just stay with my flats because I didn't feel like putting on my heels. A little bit weird because I haven't squatted in flats in about 2 training cycles, but that being said, these all moved really well as well. Again, considering the load of the week, I'm pretty happy with this too. So that brings us on to the final day, which was consisting of some pin presses, or in this case, I guess strap presses, if you will. A couple sets of 3, working up to 1 set of RPE 9. The top set here for me was 135 kg, or just under 300 pounds. I'm pretty happy how these move, and I like how my elbows track with these pin presses, and this is literally probably like half an inch to an inch off my chest, so definitely need to try to emulate this when I'm actually benching. From there, did a load drop of another set of 3, and then just did some touch and go bench, at which you're seeing one of the sets here, which is at 130 kilograms, and these all moved really well. So I felt pretty good about this. So overall, it was a really good week, which was surprising because I felt so bad last week. We'll see how next week goes, and of course, how the meet goes. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll check in with you next week. If you want, you could stay big.